Hey guys, welcome to AnswerKEY, an initiative by Kalyan Eparchy Youth in an effort to answer all the questions that you have in mind. Let's begin. One of our panelists for today is Father C.D. Sebastian. Father C.D. Sebastian is the priest and professor from IIT Bombay with his expertise in the field of philosophy. He has been imparting knowledge to the students of IIT Bombay from the year 2004. We welcome you, Acha, to AnswerKEY. So the main reason that we are having this answer key event is for clearing lots of doubts in the minds of our youth. One such question that we have received from our youth is that when we are having, why do we have to go to church when online mass is effective? So we would like to hear your expertise on the same.
Thank you, Annie, for having me here. I thank Father George Vattamatam too for initiating this. And thank you, Prince, for recording. And a word of appreciation for the key Kalyan Eparchy youth. I've been here for last 16, 17 years, and I've seen them experiencing the wonderful things they do. I appreciate you for your faith and vitality. Please do continue and make us all proud. Coming to the question, Annie, I'm happy that, this question has come up. And in this question, there is something beautiful because people are experiencing the Christian life personally and spiritually. They have grown. They have developed an intimacy with the Lord, and that's wonderful. So that's something commendable and wonderful. In this lockdown, people have become responsible, and they have developed the spirituality, personal spirituality to another height. That's something commendable. In IIT, in my place also, we have people in virtual mass, and some 60 people come from all over the world. It is the scholars who initiated. I did not do anything, they initiated, and we prayed together, and it's a wonderful experience. Having said that, there is something positive, there is something nice about it. I would like to bring your attention to one important thing which we experience in my teaching career here. Once the lockdown began, we started our interactions virtually, virtual classes, online classes. And we, in a sense, imparted knowledge to the students, yes. But we missed many things. Education is not gathering information alone. It's a formation of a person. And the physical presence of my students I missed in the class. The interactions which I used to have, I missed. Similarly, they also missed much. They must have gathered informations, but when it becomes a part of the full-fledged personality development, the growth of a human individual with knowledge and all other aspects, something I think they missed, and I missed. And similarly, this is the case with our Holy Eucharist as well. Let me tell you an example from philosophy. We speak of perception. Perception is the only means through which you get knowledge. And you know what is perception? Perception is the gathering of informations, knowledge through your senses. Means you taste, you see, you hear, you smell, you touch and get the knowledge. And there is an internal organ, internal sense, which is the mind, which associates many things. So my physical experience, my experience as a human being of what I see you, what I interact with my students, it's not something virtual. I have to hear, I have to smell, I have to, I have to be part of the robust physical experiences. And that gives me what it is all about. And what happens in the virtual, many of the senses need not be active in that sense. That's why in the religious activities, in the Mass, we have the involvement of all these senses. There is incense for the smell, there is singing and chanting for the ears, and there is visual spiritually, you see whatever is being enacted, whatever is being happened there in the altar, and your all senses are fully involved, and that is liturgical religious celebrations, and that is culminated in the receiving of the Holy Communion. And Mass is not a virtual Mass. Mass is culminated when there is a communion service, fellowship. You eat the blood and drink the flesh. You partake of the Lord's Supper, and that's very important. And if I don't partake, then it doesn't complete the essence of the Eucharist. So, Eucharistic sacramental life is something different, and that's only possible when I have get out of my virtual world. And let me tell you something more about our community living. There is no solitary Christian in Christianity. No one can be a solitary person. He has to be in the community. Spiritual exercises are in the community. Sacraments are in the community. And living together is in the community. Let me give the example. Saint Thomas the Apostle, who was away from the community of the disciples when Jesus appeared to them, he missed the most important facet of the divine experience. He must have been doing something good, must have been away, but he missed the vital thing. So, Christian living is in the community, and familiarity with the Christ is familiarity with the community, and community and Christianity goes together. It's all complementary to each other, and we cannot deny the fact that you can grow spiritually if you run away from the community. It's said some monks, some ascetics, some people, those who are mystics, they may be, but Father Sebastian and Prince and all of us are humans. We have not reached the height of that ecstatic experience. It will be may one day, but as long as I'm a mortal human, इंसान हूँ, मट्टी का तन हूँ, मस्ती का मन हूँ मेरा, तो I should be able to live with my fellow beings. And so the real world is not virtual world. That's what I wanted to tell you. And I would conclude with the words of Pope Francis. You know what he said? On the 17th of April, he gave a mass. His mass was in his private residence. And in the sermon, he said, I quote him, be careful not to virtualize the church. Be careful not to virtualize the sacraments. Be careful not to virtualize the people of God. Means our church is a church of real people, not virtual people. And don't ever virtualize the church, virtualize the sacraments, virtualize the people of God. We are a community with our own goods and bad things, merits and demerits, saints and sinners, and this is the church of our world. And we have to be in that community. Then only the spiritual growth comes. And I conclude with whatever I said in my experience here. Students did not attain what they were expected to achieve in the class in the virtual mode. That's what I wanted to say. Thank you so much for listening to me, Annie.
Thank you, Acha, for helping us distinguish between the virtual world and the real world, and that it is very important for us to be physically present to attain God. Thank you so much, Acha, for your explanation. Our second panelist for the day is Dr. Manjeet Bhatti. He was born in Chandigarh. He did his BDS in 1999 from Christian Medical College, Ludhiana, with 3 gold medals. He worked at Lady Willingdon Hospital, Manali up to 2005 as the head of the dental department. He's an entrepreneur as well. He did his MA in philosophy with a gold medal from the Punjab University. He is currently doing his PhD in philosophy from IIT Bombay. We welcome you, Dr. Manjeet Bhatti, to answer.
Thank you very much.
So we are here because this event is very specific to questions that are coming into the mind of our youth, and especially in a situation like this where our working youth are very troubled right now, especially in the matters of job security. So,
Right.
I mean, you see a lot of private sectors laying off people. So, one such question that we have received from our youth is, should we be thinking about our futures working in the government sector when it is slowly moving towards privatization? So, we would really like to hear your expertise on that.
Thank you, Annie. Thank you, everyone who would be hearing this answer. So, as Annie has introduced me, I have got an experience of working in a semi-government sector. I worked as a businessman for some 8 years, and then I am currently working as a student. I'm as an academician. I'm studying in IIT Bombay. So, I'll try to give some insights from my varied experience, and I'm very aware of the situation which is now prevalent. It is very, very fragile now, especially for you youngsters. When I look at you, I really feel a great concern in my heart. Now, the question about doing government jobs, it's like when I was young, and now still when I see people around me, most of the people, largely, they want to do government jobs because of the amount of security it offers.
Correct.
So, if given a choice, I think students would like to go for government jobs. But before getting into whether government jobs are right or whether moving into private sector is feasible, I want to touch upon something very, very important, which is the mindset which has been now been ingrained into the current youth. That mindset comes from the culture of individualism. And now we have postmodernism around us. So this culture actually promotes following one's passion, following one's heart very, outrightly. Movies
Correct.
like Tamasha or Gully Boy, though I like Gully Boy very much, but they promote that we should go outright and listen to our heart. But in actuality, the real life doesn't work like that. We must, as youngsters, should be ready to take up the first opportunity which comes our way. And why do I say this? This is sounding very pessimistic, but why do I say this? Because in psychology, there is a very famous positive psychologist. His name is Abraham Maslow. Now, Abraham Maslow has given us a triangle, and though I disagree with him on many points, but this triangle I find it very significant. He says that every human being in this world wants to have a hierarchy. They have a biological, psychological, social, and spiritual needs. So he says to fulfill one person's need, these levels need to be traversed from lower to higher. Now, this triangle you can all see on the internet. But why I am mentioning it here is that this triangle says that first and foremost we need to fulfill our basic needs. Then only we can go and progress to the higher levels in life. Now, to progress to this fulfilling the basic needs comes most stable and easy in a public sector. Public sector also offers us the opportunity to impact many other lives more wider and broader. We can see this from the examples of life of Nehemiah, Esther, Mordecai, Joseph, and all these people were somewhere related to the public sector of those days. So you can impact many other lives very remarkably. Also, the Christian witness is very strongly and very profoundly required in these current areas of public sector. Like if a person is having Christian values, and if they are in a judiciary, or if they are in executive branches, or if they are in medical line, or if they are professors, imagine how many lives they can heal because of their Christian values. And on the other hand side, if we look onto the private sector, entrepreneurship is an area where initially it's very hard to make your mark. It is very excruciating. But once you have made your mark, then you can be more creative as compared to a public sector arena, and you can grow financially open-endedly, which doesn't happen in the public sector. But the most crucial thing is timing. As a senior, as a brother, as a mentor, I would like to tell you that every youngster should attempt all the entrances examination, all possibilities which are open for public sector service. You know why? Because once you are young, once this time is over, then this would not come. Whereas this going into a private sector or a entrepreneurship is always open. Usually, students these days they do feel that the jobs are restraining, they are restricting, and also the stress which is caused in pursuing these kind of fields is too much. So I have experienced that the youth is not just for making fun and frolic, not just thinking romantically or ideologically, but we should take maximum stress possible in the young age given to us to lay our foundation for our earthly life, the future of earthly life, as well as future of the eternal life. Now, all these two arenas, when you guys are going to move into this, we need to see what destiny has in store for us. So eventually, if I underline for all of you what is to be done in life, you need to take one, your parents into confidence and see what is their desire, and also make Christ and Bible as your access mundi. Make it central to your life. So when these two factors come together, parents' blessings, even they are not very aware of present technologies or challenges, but somehow some spiritual authority is manifested in them. And also when we have based our life on the biblical principles, we have the promises from God. He takes care of us. Jeremiah 29:11, you all know, it says that I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you. He will give you the desires of thy heart. And what happens in this delicate times, in these difficult times, many heartbreaks, many difficulties will come, many dreams will be broken. So my own basket is full of broken dreams and hardships. But what has happened, because I believed in Christ from a very young age, I found him very close to me. I gave my life to him. All the brokenness, all the broken dreams, all hardships has become turned out good for me, as Romans 8:28 says. All things work together for good of those who love the Lord. So go for public sectors, fight all the competitions, commit your paths to God, and even if nothing happens there, He will definitely take care of you in these difficult times. You are segregated nation, you are segregated people for Him. He will definitely see to it that you are always the head, never the tail. Deuteronomy 28's promises are all available for all of you. May God bless you, and I really, really pray that you all will be lifted up in your lives. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Manjeet, for enlightening us with your kind words. We will definitely be in touch with you with many more such questions. Thank you.
Pleasure is all mine, Annie. God bless you guys. See you. Thank you. Bye.
Our third panelist for the day is Dr. Maria Thomas. She has recently obtained her PhD from Systems and Control the Engineering Department, IIT Bombay. Her area of specialization is control theory and application, with emphasis on autonomous systems and robotics. She is currently working as the research associate at Systems and Control Engineering, IIT Bombay. We welcome you, Dr. Maria, to AnswerKEY.
Thank you so much, Annie. Thank you for having me here, first of all. And I would like to thank you and the organizers of this particular program. And more importantly, Professor Dr. C.D. Sebastian for giving me a chance to be able to share my views on this particular topic. So yeah, moving on to your question.
Doctor, we are more than delighted to have you over here and addressing our youth. So the question that they have for you is, isn't social distancing a boon in regards to unnecessary expenses that we are used to doing for our functions? So we would like to hear your experience.
Yeah, thank you, Annie, again. So the question is quite relevant and it is a scenario that we all are currently going through, like functions and in the wake of this pandemic, basically. So to begin with, social distancing. Social distancing, it is for our own safety. And this particular safety measure has been introduced to curb the spread of the virus. And what the consequence of it is that it has led to reduced social contact, basically. So now coming to our question of having to deal with the conduct of a particular function, whatever it may be. So such a function would normally be a social gathering. There would be a large number of people assembled and it is basically wherein we get to meet people, exchange our ideas whatsoever, and share our happiness when it comes to these functions. So in the present scenario, one would have to satisfy oneself with having to conduct that particular function or gathering with a fewer number of people. So that is the premise we have. And this, in fact, is a blessing in disguise because it basically cuts down on the expenses in having to cater to the needs of a larger number of people. So this definitely comes with a blessing in disguise. So I think the logical part of it is pretty much clear to everyone as to how, when we think of conducting a function, how it comes with a reduction in the expenses. That is in particular clear. What I would like to add on to the audience over here is that uh, let's take a moment to think about the essence of having to conduct a function in the first go. So, with the entire world being affected, of course, we have the moral obligation of having to tone down on the celebrations if that is what the function we are talking of. But at the same time, there are cases wherein we cannot go without it. We have to carry forth with such a function, whatever be the case. In that scenario, it can be made more meaningful if we uh, encourage virtual participation. So recently also I was going through such a scenario wherein a dear friend of mine was getting married. Suppose that is a function I'm elaborating on. So of course we would want at least our own kith and kin to be present there. Forget about the sentiments related to our friends and extended family members. Our own kith and kin, we would definitely want them to be there to witness the big event that is gonna happen. But at the same time, uh, I do not want to say anything on the sentiments of the people going through such a situation as to having to take a decision whether to conduct it or not. It is in fact, there is a mixed reaction as far as the conduct goes. Like people have different viewpoints on whether to be able to conduct it with a limited number of people or to postpone it. But basically, if we are, I would like to talk on the scenario wherein we have decided to go forth with it. If it is so, then it could be made more meaningful, as I mentioned before, by ensuring participation virtually. And with the facilities available, of course, it wouldn't be possible to let everyone be there. I mean, because it's on a short notice, and we clearly do not know the situation of the people whom we want to invite, their mental state of mind, their uh, facilities over there, everything. But I mean, we could as well think about like whatever be the function or the celebration, whatever we have, we could at least think about having a meal virtually together, like online. Suppose like we baking something or making something and sitting together and watching the other. Even I mean, people who are quarantined, they share the sentiments by doing so. They might be in the next room and they might be having their own food, but we clearly cannot see them. So that is what the situation demands. So what I would say is that whatever that is practically possible should be done to sustain the spirit of the function. And whatever be the function that we are talking of, it is all about being available and sharing the feeling pertaining to that. That is what I wanted to say as far as the essence of conducting the function goes. And one thing about the question is about the unnecessary expenses incurred. Of course, with a larger gathering, there comes also a matter of prestige to be able to showcase the entire event in the best possible way to cater to a larger number of people. This would definitely result in some unnecessary expenses, if at all it is to happen likewise. But the present situation, what it demands is like presence in blessings or joining in spirit, literally. And the purpose of the function is what is given more impetus rather than how one goes about it. Why it is being conducted should be the focus over here. And I would like to conclude, Annie, saying that acting normal and composed in these trying times uh, would enable us to think differently and come up with far better alternatives to keep up the spirit and keep things moving. And let's see the true meaning of the uh, function that we have in the wake of COVID-19 and welcome the not so used to change with regard to the conduct of the function. Above all, inculcate the spirit of togetherness wherever we are. That is what I wanted to conclude with. Thank you, Annie. Thank you so much. Thank you all for your patient hearing. This is what I wanted to say, Annie, basically.
Thank you, Dr. Maria, for your insight on. The function is more about the essence rather than the expenditures which are attached to it. And in such a situation, it demands being virtually present because of the situations. And the expenses are always going to be part and parcel of our life, and we have to deal with it in some way. It's only that that I understand from your answer is that it is up to us to decide which expenses is necessary and unnecessary. It holds different, you can say, place of importance for different people. So I am really
Absolutely.
glad to have had this opportunity with you to hear your answer on this question, and I'm really sure our youth will have more questions, and we will be getting back to you in the future for many more such answers. Thank you so much for
Sure.
your time.
Thank you, Annie. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. Thank you once again.
Hey guys, thank you for watching. I hope we have been able to answer a few of your questions. Do send us your questions by filling in the link in the description box below. Thank you.